So gents, SolidWorks, right? Um, One thing to cover, this bit on the right hand side here takes up a fair bit of real estate. But when you click in the drawing area, you've got nice wide monitors, bigger than I have. It goes away. Click back over here again in any of these, comes up. If you want to keep it up, you can pin it up by putting the pin in. Yeah, it will then stay. Okay. For the benefit of what we're going to do today, we don't need to go there anyway. Okay. There are 3 different drawing types in SolidWorks. The first thing, and it's always got to be the first thing, as a part file. We can make parts. We can then make assemblies that are made out of parts. We can also make assemblies that are made out of assemblies. And then finally we can make drawings that are our traditional engineering piece of paper drawings for somebody to make a part, or for us to show an exploded illustration of assembly or something like that. So you always have to start with a new part. Okay, so if you do that bit, you should get a screen up that looks something like that. Now there's another thing that you're going to make use of, and that is the menu bar that is up here. So it's probably best if you click that little arrow there and pin that menu bar so that it stays out. Alright? Now, we can't make any kind of assembly until we've at least made one part. We might make an assembly out of 2 parts that are exactly the same thing, but we need at least one part, if not 2 or more, to make an assembly. So we're going to have a look this week at how to create parts, and then next time we'll have a look at how we put some of our parts into an assembly. Okay, so what we have in SolidWorks is we can work in any one of 3 planes initially, as well as once we've got an object, we can add parts to it on the surfaces of it and that type of thing as well. So what we're going to do initially is just create a 3D object on the front plane. If we hover and click near that there, we can say we want to create a sketch on the front plane, and the front plane will turn to face you. So we're looking directly at the front plane. Alright? Then what we're going to do is create a rectangle. Okay, so click the rectangle box. You'll notice that we are currently working in sketch mode. Okay, this 3 red arrows in the middle are the origin. The origin you should always have something reference to the origin, either the center of a circle or one corner of your object or your sketch, or at least one part of your model should be on the origin, some reference to the origin. So I'm going to draw a rectangle of any size with the bottom left hand corner on the origin. Okay? I'm not going to look at making that any particular size at this moment in time, just one rectangle. The little green squares, I'm going to explain what they are in a short while and the implications of them. Okay, but for the time being, just ignore them. What we're then going to do is we're going to extrude that rectangle into a solid 3D object. To do that, we need to make it into, or apply a feature to that sketch. So click on the features. We're going to do extruded boss base. You'll notice there that the model turns into a 3D representation, and it gives you an indication of what you're currently trying to do. You're using the sketch that's highlighted in blue, and you're actually extruding that out towards you along the Z axis by 10 millimeters. Yep. And we can alter that extrusion by pulling this backwards and forwards. We can move it a certain distance along that scale, and it goes in steps. The other thing we can do is we can type the actual distance, let's say 40 millimeters, in the box there, and when we've finished everything, when you're finished with it in SolidWorks, click the green tick. Yep. There is our 3D object in SolidWorks. Okay. Now, moving around. Before we go any further, we need to look at how we can move around an object. If you click and hold the wheel on your mouse, you can rotate your object around like so. Yep. If you want to go back to the original 3D trimetric view, you go up to this view orientation menu here, over the side here, and you can select isometric. Yep. If you click the little plus inside where we got Boss Extrude 1 over here, it says Sketch 1 inside there. That's the sketch that that block is based on. Okay, we can click on that, okay, and we can edit that if we want to. So I'm going to click to edit it. See this little symbol here, normal to, that will, if I click that, that will immediately put me back looking at that sketch. Okay, and I can zoom in and out. You zoom in and out by wheel backwards and forwards, and it zooms in on your cursor position. Okay, two ways to get it to fill the screen. One is this icon up the top here. The other one is to double click the wheel. Fills the screen. What we're going to do now is we're going to make the rectangle a certain dimension. Okay? In fact, I'm going to show you how we can make it a square. If the design intention is for it to always be a square, we would tell it that we're going to have it the same side and the other side is equal to it, and then if we changed one side, the others would change with it. Smart Dimension, click the left hand line and draw away. So in SolidWorks, you don't draw a square 50 by 50, you draw a square and then you tell it you want it to be 50 by 50. There is a difference. So we're going to type in 50 for that dimension. Okay? Click the tick, as it were, to say you're finished with that dimension. What we're then going to do is click on one of the lines and then press Control and click all the other three lines in the square. Okay, and then down on the left hand side here, click the button that says equal and tick OK. Right, what you've done is you've said one side is 50 and all the other sides are the same. Therefore, we must have a square. And then we exit the sketch. The 3D model updates for it to be a block with a square face. We're all happy with that? Yep. Just let everybody catch up. Leave that one. Start another brand new part. On the front plane, start a sketch and draw a rectangle connected to the origin. Okay? And if we tick that, if you look at this now, right, the thing is blue. I can pick up these lines and move them. Yep. But I can't, I can move that point, yeah, but it still remains a rectangle. All the angles in the corners, still 90 degrees, and I cannot move it off the origin. Okay? Everybody see that? If you just leave yours for now and just watch what I do, and then you can go back and have a play. That symbol says that that line remains horizontal. Yep. It's fixed to being horizontal. That one's fixed at being horizontal. That one's fixed at being vertical. So is that. That's why the angles, when I move this, always start at 90. This symbol here is fixing that corner to the origin. If I delete that symbol, I can pick the damn thing up and move that corner away from the origin. Yep. If I want to put it back, I select that corner, I control and select the origin, and say I want them to be coincident, it's back. Okay? If I delete this, I can now move that corner. I can make this line not horizontal anymore. But all the others are remaining either horizontal or vertical. But I can put that back by doing that and saying horizontal. Okay? Now, before you do any feature on a sketch, everything should be black, like these two lines. What black means is that the sketch is fully defined and dimensioned so that everything about it is known. And if you notice, if I go in here now and say I want that to be 75, that line has now gone black because it's always going to be vertical and it's always going to be 75 millimeters long. These two lines are still black. If I now dimension that one to 100 millimeters, the whole thing is black. You have fixed it at 100 by 75 rectangle, and if you try and move anything, the corners, the lines, or anything about that sketch, you can't do it because it's all black and it will not move. It is fully constrained, fully defined. We can now happily go to features, do an extruded boss base, and make it any size we want that way. Click OK, and we got a model. Okay, so 4 or 5 minutes, have a play around with the little green boxes and see what you can do when you take them away and practice putting the thing back on the origin again.